Hey everyone, I'm Jack, and under this bag right here could very well be an impossible cactus rescue. So the other day I was at a big box store. I was there to get some potting soil to transplant the comfrey from the garden bed that I have it in to a pot, and we're going to take that with us when we move. And while I was out there, I was looking at the succulents and the cacti, and I found a couple of succulents that looked pretty nice, but I kind of had my heart set on a cactus for some reason. So I looked around and really didn't see anything that caught my eye. Here where I live, all the stores have kind of the same cactus. They're not boring, it's the same ones through whatever big box store you go. And so I kind of left the garden center and I went inside, and something told me, it was really weird, something told me to turn around and go back out in the garden center and look again. And so I had looked at this one pot. It was $20 and a little bit out of my budget, for that time. But it was a really nice Trichocereus, and I just couldn't justify spending that much money on it. Well, right behind that pot was another Trichocereus that was in pretty bad shape. And what I meant by very well an impossible rescue, let me show you the condition of this poor little cactus. So here it is, a Trichocereus grandiflorus hybrid. And this is the one little hunk of cactus that's not rotted. And the rest of it, as you can see, is just completely rotted away. Last night when I picked it up at the store, there were little gnats and bugs flying all over it, little creepy crawlies crawling all over it. There's even a weed growing out of it right here. And man, oh man, this thing is just all but dead except for this one poor little ball right here. And I just felt like I needed to step in and try and save this. So I took it inside and I went and talked to one of the workers there to see if he would get the manager for me. And the guy kind of asked why. And I said, well, I wanted to see if, the manager or the assistant manager would mark this plant down because it's in such bad shape. And he says, oh, I can do that. And so he looked at it and he says, yeah, it's pretty bad. He says, I can mark it down to $5. He says, that's normally what, one potted plant would be, is $5. So I said, yes, I will get it for sure. I probably could have got it for less, but I didn't want to sit there and negotiate, well, I'll give you $1 for it. I figured $5 was worth trying to save this poor little plant. So I paid the $5. I got a little plastic bag, the one that you just saw me take off. I just put it over the top. I kind of tented it. And I had bought two other plants, two little smaller plants as well. And I just kept this one away from those because there's so many critters. And looking at it now, there's still all kinds of little bugs and gnats and all kinds of things in there that I didn't even want to bring it inside and run the risk of contaminating or infecting my other plants with whatever this thing may have. So I put the bag over it and I put it in our shed overnight. And what I'm planning on doing is taking it to work with me, tipping it out of this pot, and then maybe let it dry out at work for a day or two. Where I work, in my little area, there's an oven that I use to heat the parts to run on my robot. And I'm thinking that I can let it dry out. Part of the problem is this pot is just saturated, almost like it had been sitting out in the rain. And I don't think it had. It was sitting under an overhang and it was protected. I think it just might be from being overwatered. I feel like the couple of days at work drying out will be like a quarantine. There's no other plants around inside my work and really none outside, so I don't worry about, getting any kind of disease from there. I just felt so compelled to try and rescue this. And I think this is going to be, like I said, probably impossible, but I feel like maybe there's a good chance it could survive. And so if it does, it'll be the greatest cactus rescue of all time. Not really, but I think it will be pretty amazing if this does live and go on to produce, you know, other pups, other babies. That would be amazing to see. It's probably going to take a long time, but the first step is just to get it out and dry it off. So I just wanted to share that with you. I'm going to take this poor little cactus and I'll take my camera and I'll show you me doing that at work. All right, so here it is the next day, and I've got some gloves. I have the cactus that I'm going to try and rescue, and I tried to find a quiet spot here at work. Impossible. I work, I think, in the noisiest factory in all of Arkansas. So I apologize for all the background noise. There's cars going by, forklifts honking, there's just all kinds of noise. So my goal for today is just to get this out of the pot, get all this rotten cactus away from this one piece that I think I can save, and then just let it dry out. I've had it indoors today underneath the heater in my work area, and it really didn't do anything. This soil is just soaking wet. It looks like it's mostly peat, so that's probably why it's retaining so much moisture. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll get this thing out of this pot. I'm just going to put these on. I don't want to get one of these spines stuck in my finger, as nasty as they are. Who knows what I would catch or get. So I think the best way to do this is just to dump it out and, you know, kind of support it as it comes out and just try and separate this cactus. Wow. So it's just one big root ball, and it's pretty soaked all the way through. So now I'm just going to try and, as careful as I can, separate this away. I think if I just get this rotten part away, that would be the biggest help. Oh, gross. Look at that. Can you see that? Ugh. And it stinks too. Oh my gosh, it smells so bad. Ugh. I am so glad I wore gloves. So I'm just gonna take this big hunk off. That is so gross. So I'm just gonna move this out of the way. And now I can kind of focus on this one here. Sort of gently work the soil away. It's got great roots. They look really healthy. Bright white, which is what you want to see. But it's really soaked. Can you see that in there? It's not too bad here. I mean, it's wet, but I guess it's not as soaked as this nastiness. I've got a bunch of gunk here on the side, and I think what I'll do is I'll just take like a brush and just gently get that off the spines. I think this is looking pretty positive. I think this will work. Try and not take off as many roots as possible. And I think that's all I'm going to do, because some of these roots are kind of falling off now. So I don't want to take off too many. So yeah, I mean, it looks really good. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm just going to take this back inside, lay it under my oven, and just try and get it warm and dry out the rest of this soil. The roots are kind of dry inside of this peat, and that's exactly what this is almost pure peat moss with just a tiny bit of perlite. That's why it was retaining so much moisture. So I don't want this to dry out too much, so I'm probably going to plant this right away, a little bit sooner than I expected, but that's a good thing. Okay, so now the little cactus and I are home. It spent the day underneath the oven. Now I'm just going to take this paintbrush and kind of brush off the remaining dirt, some more of the rotten stuff that I maybe can get off, and just kind of gently brushing this off. I don't want to leave this nasty stuff on here, and it's still kind of wet where it's been touching the cactus. You can see maybe right in here, let me see, right in here, this yellowy part, that's pretty wet in there. So I want to try and get some of this off. And some of the spines are kind of rotten and falling off. I'm just going to try and avoid any more rot on this cactus. It turned out really good. I'm really happy with this, and I think this has a good chance of surviving. So let's get this inside. We'll get some potting soil, some perlite. We'll put this little cute cactus in a pot and send it on its way to healing. Well, this little cactus has sure been through a lot today. Separated from the mound of rotten peat, brushed, poked with a bamboo stick, brushed again, filmed, dried. It's been through a lot. So it's time to get it into a pot with some fresh soil and give it a chance to recover. So here I have the little pot. I put some pea gravel in the bottom, and then in this bucket I have the soil mixed with the perlite that I always use, and it's ready to go. All right, so let's get some soil in here. Probably better check. Ooh, I'm gonna barehand it. Probably better check to make sure these roots are gonna fit inside with all that gravel that I put in there. So I'm just gonna make a little bit of a well inside and just kind of carefully spread those roots out. Ouch. Jeez, ow. And the problem is, it was growing a little bit crooked in that rot mound. So I need to kind of angle it to get it somewhat straight. Ouch, keeps sticking me. I'm trying to help you. So, not the ending I wanted. I had a massive equipment failure. The battery on my recorder died, the battery on my camera died, and I lost kind of everything from barehanding this and getting stuck forward. And the only thing I was saying is that, you know, I had accidentally dumped a bunch of dirt on here, and it's just kind of my opinion that you don't want to have any dirt or perlite or any kind of foreign bodies, you know, stuck in between these spines and in these ridges like this has. That I just think it's an irritant to the plant, and I think that, you know, it would try and grow either around that thing or try and grow it off of it. So I was just kind of cleaning it up. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that, you know, when you transplant a cactus, and especially something like this that was so traumatic, you don't want to water it right away. You want to give it about a week to maybe 2 weeks, because the shock that you put it through and transplanting it will make the roots kind of stop absorbing that water, and so then it's just going to be sitting in water, which then can rot it, and this especially does not need any help rotting. There was plenty of it. I had mentioned that I got 2 other plants, so I can show those. The first one is this little agave, and it's an unknown. It just says agave species, but it's really cool. I've always wanted an agave, and I'm hoping it doesn't like outgrow the area that I have to grow it in. I may have to put it outside, bring it in the winter. And then I got this cool Echinopsis rose quartz, and let me put it back here so you can see a little bit better. And it's got a, where's my pointer? Gotta have my pointer. It's got this cool little baby right here, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little, let me put this down, 5 little 5 little shoots coming off here, and it is super cute. So those are the 3 that I got: the rescue, the echinopsis and the agave. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click that thumbs up for me. Subscribe to see more videos. And until the next time, thanks for watching.